Neil.
Lights.
Niall.
Camera.
Okay, it's gone.
Action.
Okay, so here we start off with our actual cushion. This is the inside of the cushion. We get a measuring tape and we measure the diameter of it. This is 43 centimetres by 43 centimetres. Okay, you can see it in the measuring tape. In fact, it's more like 44. Okay, so when we get that measurement, we get a ruler and a pencil and some graph paper. We can also use plain paper and a set square. So we know it's 44 centimetres in length, so we draw a line along the side to indicate our 44 centimetres. So literally the lines, the measurements are already worked out for you here, so it makes it really easy. But we have to allow on a seam allowance for sewing all around the sides. So we add on to our 44 centimetres, we add on 3. So we're going to make it 47 centimetres wide. Now it's a square, so that means we're going to make it 47 centimetres this way as well. And again, you've got a grid up to 47. So we just take the line along the paper. This makes it super easy when we use this type of paper. You can buy this in Hickey's on Henry Street and most other fabric places. It is expensive, however, and when you get more experienced, you won't need to use it anymore. So then you get a line and you draw it down. Does everyone understand that so far? So 0 to 47, and then 47 to 47, and then we draw all the way down to the base. Make sure we keep it nice and straight and use a long ruler if we have one. And if we use little rulers, it can be more time consuming, okay? Then when we get to the end, we use a paper scissors. Remember, if we use fabric scissors on paper, what happens?
The fabric scissors get a little bit.
It blunts, it goes blunt. So we cut out the square. There's one length. And then we go along here. What is this thing that we're making here that I have in my hand?
Square.
The pattern.
The square.
It's a pattern. We're making a pattern.
Whoa.
Very satisfying cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do it again.
I'll try. No, it's not going to work there. Kind of have to have the paper dead straight. Okay, so once we have that cut out, that's our pattern piece. We remove the bits of paper and we fold them up neatly that we don't need anymore, so that we're tidying up as we go along. And this reduces clutter, and it means that our minds can think a little bit more freely. Okay, so that's why tidying up is important. It makes our minds less cluttered. Right, so once we do that, we fold that up to one side. And then we get our pencil, and we're going to write on the pattern, on the opposite side. We're going to write 47 centimetres by 47 centimetres square pattern for a cushion cover. Okay, because that's what it is. Then we get our fabric. Our fabric might have fallen on the floor that time, yeah. We get our fabric and we open it up, just making sure that it's going to be enough. And we have to get our cushion cover fabric and fold it in half. There's no point cutting this out twice. We can just fold it in half, put the pattern on top of it, and then cut out 2 at the one time. Does that make more sense? Yeah. So then what we do is we get our pattern cover, just make sure, yeah. And then we try to use the fabric economically. So instead of placing it right and dead in the centre, we bring it a little bit out towards the corner so that we can have these leftover pieces to do our samples on our sewing machine, right? So what we do is we get our pins, which are on the floor, and we unpin a few of them with pins. Yeah, we just take these out, make sure they're good and sharp. If they're blunt, they can actually snag the fabric, and they're harder to work with. Pins do wear out. Now, so we put one pin in at the corner here, and then we move away from that. So instead of putting one here and then one at the corners, there's a chance that it might get all loopy in the centre. So we put one in here, and then we bring one in a little bit further out, one over here a little bit more. So we're moving away from the first point of contact. So that's the way we place the pins in here. Now this stage you can place in the sun. What song songs would you sing as a group? What's that song? Circle of Friends.
Due for confirmation.
Communion.
Whatever.
What do you ask that?
I'm getting old. Memories what it used to be words.
Okay, so you see the way this kind of loops and bubbles up, then we have a chance to straighten it out. Okay, and then we move away from here. We're going to get nice and flat, and this means it's nice and secure. If we rush any part of sewing, it increases the likelihood of shoddy work.
What does shoddy mean?
Shoddy is the name that was given for the dregs of fabric that fell down from the looms. Cheaper dregs that were used to make cheap clothes, like children's clothes or cheap cloth. They were the leftover threads. And then we get good sharp scissors. This scissors is very small, so it's better to use one with a nice long blade. Let's hopefully find out if this works. Yeah, and now we have it. So we just go to the outside of the fabric when we're cutting it. We don't cut into the actual pattern. If we do that, we're making the pattern smaller every time. Several people in the class can use this pattern again. You know, so not everyone will have to make the pattern up. Do you know what I mean? So if anyone else has 44 centimeter, this will also work for a 43 centimeter cushion. So we just cut to the outside.
Sounds satisfying.
It does.
Could put this up on an ASMR channel.
Hmm?
Could put this up on an ASMR channel.
Huh?
Doesn't matter. The sewing channel here.
Well, a video like this, it would be nice to edit certain bits so you don't have to watch the whole thing being cut out because that kind of slows it down a bit.
No, I love that. Satisfying.
Really?
I love that sound as well.
Okay, so once we cut it all off, we might have some like little ribbony bits left. We don't need them, but we can use them for tying things together. And then the leftover pieces of fabric, they can be used for little samples on the sewing machine. So we fold them up to one side, and we get a pin, and we secure the pin through the fabric so that it doesn't fall everywhere, okay? And then what we do is we remove our pins. Now it's good to have a little pin cushion. I had one out there a second ago. We just remove all the pins out one at a time. Just put it on top of the fabric. If you put it on top of the table, it's likely that the pins will run down onto the floor. So put it onto a bit of fabric is probably better. Pull all the pins out.
Have you cut yourself?
Hmm?
Have you ever cut yourself with pins?
I think so. Prick the pin before, yeah.
Like when
So when I have this done, I just put it to one side. And what I would do is I would put that into a plastic sheet within my folder, right? And then I have front and the back worked out. And let me show you something I've prepared to show you all now. It was just here a second ago. Where's it gone? It's a nice folder. It was lean granules. Just pull up the video for 1 second. Where's it gone? There was a purple folder in here. Can you take it down? There was a student's work up the top here, and it's gone.
Do you take it with
Is that it there? Whose is that?
David Coyle.
Oh, give that to me for a second.
It's Irish.
Charles.
So he left that behind.
Does any sewer ever like pre-made?
Okay, so you can start recording again. So here's an example of an inspiration page for a folder. Okay, and what he's done is he's drawn out a picture. Okay, based upon these images here, he's drawn out a picture. Right?
Not for sale.
Hmm?
Oh, I thought it said not for sale.
Okay, and then based upon that, this is his pattern here, right? This is his pattern here, which we photocopied, and then we cut it out. Okay, we cut out these circles, right? And then
So
we cut out all the pieces, right? So we obviously we're going to have. So that's going to be like that. Okay. Now, what we do is we need to take off the back of the fabric, right? And what we need to do is we need to just fold up the back of the fabric,
put it back in the fold.
and you get a little piece of paper, and you write down. Whose is this, by the way?
Mine.
So this is Tristan. What's your second name?
Egan.
Egan. Back of cushion cover. Okay, and then we place this on the top, and then we place a pin all the way through to the back. So Tristan, that can go into your. So everyone has to have the back of their cushion labelled with their name on it, because a lot of you are using the same fabric and it could go missing. Okay, so do you know what I mean? It could go missing, so you need to label it and put it into the back of your sewing, and then you cut out all your felt pieces from your pattern. But make sure that you don't put any pieces right up to the corner, because that fabric is all going to be taken up to the back, like it's going to be part of the cushion seam.
Oh, yeah, that's my brother's and it was like that.
Yeah. So you have to make sure that you're going to do the design a little bit away from the edge.
Do you use the sewing machine to put all this on?
No, you're going to do hand sewing with this,
Would
right?
that be the running stitch that you use to put those on, or what?
So you could do a blanket stitch all around here. You could do he could do a running stitch around here. He could do some chain stitch all along just to cover up that pen mark. I don't want any pen or biro on your felt. You need to make a pattern piece. Now, I showed you how to make a pattern piece with the Rubik's Cube image yesterday. Do you remember that? Anyone who wasn't here can watch that video. Right, so I'd like you to refer to my previous video on making a little pattern piece.
What's the model code? No, it's she hasn't.
Okay, so now we'll just finish off this video by just summarising what we've done here. We've made one pattern piece. We've labelled the back of the pattern piece. This is made based upon the cushion itself. We've cut out the two sides of the cushion. We've labelled the back piece with the person's name and what it is. And then we've cut out our felt pieces, and we've pinned the felt pieces and placed them nicely on top of our cushion. And then we're ready to start sewing our actual cushion cover and doing our design. Is that okay?